So let's talk about video number 2, which is demographics and frame of mind. Now, before we get to Facebook, I want you to know your demographics. In other words, I want you to have a picture of who you are trying to reach. And the more specific you are, the better. Because the more specific you are, the more you understand the person, how they feel, what the problems they face, and what kind of content, basically, that you can give them. So if you can know your demographics and the frame of mind that they are in, this will help you to increase engagement by providing good content that they want. So how do you do that? Well, there's a specific free tool that I use called Quantcast.com. You may or may not have heard of it. But basically, you want to go to QUANTcast.com. So before you go to Facebook, or even if you have a Facebook fan page that you want to promote, I still want you to do this exercise simply because you have to get an idea of the frame of mind that a person is in. So recently I've been seeing a huge trend about survivalism. Let's say the government takes over, what happens? Or natural disasters, what happens? Do you have food and water and shelter and things like that to survive on? There is a movement called homesteading, and this basically includes people who want to create ways to be able to live without needing, modern day grocery stores or relying on the government to live and things like that. Basically being able to live independently. Now, if I want to create a Facebook fan page, or let's say I do have a Facebook fan page on that, I want to know what kind of frame of mind and what kind of demographics of the type of person am I trying to reach. Because if you really don't know and you're just guessing, and this is a guessing game, then guess what? Your conversions are going to be a guessing game as well. You're not going to know exactly what type of content to provide your fans. So go to Quantcast.com, and that's the reason why we want to use the site. So what I would do is I would type in keywords that relate to that specific niche. So we can type in survivalism and see what we get. So it doesn't look like we have anything here, but if I type in survival, you can see, survival list, which is another keyword. And we see this specific site is getting traffic, but it doesn't give us demographics, which is down below here. So let's keep looking until we find a site that fits our niche and that gives us demographics. Okay, so I finally found a site that fits what we're looking for. And my suggestion to you is, if you can't find a site that fits, let's say for example survivalism, then look for other keywords that fits that realm, like homesteading or other things like that. So as we can see here, we can actually see the demographics here, and this tells us exactly the type of person so that we can visualize the type of person. And we can actually input this data later down the road if you choose to do Facebook ads or something. But as of now, we're using the data to get an idea of who we want to reach. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up Notepad, and I'm just going to jot this down. Now, as we can see here, looks like males are 101 and female is 99. But it looks like the majority is male. But females are about equivalent as well. So we could say some females, but primarily males. And then the age bracket that seems to be searching for this is primarily 35 years old to 44 years old. Now, that seems to be a very close tie between 35 to 64. So obviously we're seeing a male figure, 35 to 64. most likely they have possibly families, spouses, and so forth that they might be taking care of, and therefore they want to watch out for. Now, this obviously, I thought maybe more kids, but in actuality, it says 114 with no kids. So that's something interesting because a lot of times we think we know the market, but actually the market is quite opposite of what we think. So as we can see here, the majority seems to be 150K and above. So it sounds like high career type males, concerned about the economy maybe, and they may be looking to, as a backup plan, what to do next. Now, it looks like the majority are college education. And the good thing about Facebook is you can actually target, college education and things like that. Caucasian, it looks like, is the majority, big time majority. And to be honest, I know a good amount of people who fit this criteria and are the survivalism type people. Urban disasters, natural disasters. What do you do in that case, kind of thing. So now that I've done my demographics, I can understand and have a better idea of who I'm reaching. Because if you have a better idea of who you're reaching, now you know who to attract, right? There we go. Now, the second question that I want to answer is, how do you know the frame of mind that they are in? Well, I like to see what kind of stuff they are buying. So I tend to go to Amazon to figure that out. If I can get an idea of, okay, now I have demographics, now I want to figure out what do they buy, that will answer my question as to what kind of problems they might have, what kind of solutions they are looking for, and what kind of content I could potentially provide them. So I go to Amazon.com and I type in here survival, and Amazon gives you suggestions, keyword suggestions, and we can see here survival gear, survival kits. And if I type in survivalism, I can actually see how to survive the end of the world, how to shoestring, survivalism, survival handbook. And, if I really want to get deep into their mindset, what I'll do is I'll find a product that has really high ratings, like this, and I will actually buy it. If they have a Kindle version, that will be helpful because then I can download the Kindle version right away and just scan through it and have an idea of what kind of content I can provide them. So hopefully this gives you some good ideas on not just demographics, but how to get content and how to figure out the frame of mind. So as you can see, it's super duper easy. I go for the digital Kindles, books, and I figure out more information from that point on. You can also look for other equipment, like things that they buy besides books, just to get a feel for other things that they buy besides the frame of mind. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of demographics and frame of mind. The next thing I want to talk about is we're going to go on and head on to Facebook, and we're going to figure out some groups that are active and get an idea of how we could possibly model some of these groups and get an idea of how active these groups are, because we definitely want to have an engaging community, right? Better engagement, better conversions.